Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the 131st episode of this here, the Penny Bloom podcast. 'Tis I, Colton Robertson, and I am joined today by Aurora Carter. What's up?
What's up? It's nice to be back like always.
I am so glad to have you back because today we are talking one of my favorite Marvel movies in a long time, Shang-Chi, and then we're going to be discussing the first half of What If. I'm very excited for it. But before that, I just wanted to get a quick little introduction. Been a second since we talked, since Mutants Monthly #1.
Mm-hmm.
If you like the X-Men, go check that out. What you been up to?
I've been up to just diving more into Marvel lore, especially I don't want to mispronounce his name. Was it Shang-Chi?
Yeah, Shang-Chi. It's he was referred to by Wong as Shang-Chi, so I'm comfortable going with the ch sound for chi. I do know, however, it is Shang.
Okay.
Yang.
Okay, so Wong is the reason if people hate how we pronouncing it. But
I was like Wong said Shang-Chi at the end, so I'm gonna roll with it. All right.
Yeah. I've been just diving into just trying to figure out I went to the movies to go see it with my grandmother at almost 12 o'clock at night. And then she was just oh, I need to know more of this, because me and her was looking at a lot of X-Men documentaries, and stuff. And, she has started to embrace Marvel. So it's really, really, it's cool.
I've long embraced Marvel, and I've tried to get my family on it, at the beginning of the pandemic, back early 2020, whenever the lockdown officially happened, that 2-week lockdown, and then a little bit after that. My family was relatively responsible. We stayed inside. I didn't go to work for a few weeks. We just we all hung out there. And one of the projects we decided to work on was every night we'd eat dinner and watch an MCU movie together, and we were going to do it in order. And we got through it, and they really enjoyed it. However, the time to really, really commit to being a Marvel fan would have been this year, whenever we had all these Disney Plus projects coming out. They have access to Disney Plus and stuff, and they haven't watched a single one, sadly. But I've strongly recommend it. I've been Dad, I know you'd like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Mom, I think you'd like WandaVision. Both of you stay the fuck away from Loki.
Why both of them stay away from Loki?
I think that as Marvel fans who are really into the multiverse stuff, and I think for the casual older Marvel fan, Loki will be cool, but the importance of it at the end will kind of be what the fuck were we even doing here, for them? Just because they don't understand. I don't think they'll fully grasp the idea that we're about to get into the multiverse, and the multiverse is going to open so many different avenues. They don't know about Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness or shit like that. It's just and plus my mom's a little skeptical of romances. They've got to be done really right. And I was like, so Mom, you're definitely going to want to stay away from Loki.
Oh yes, especially the whole Sylvie and Loki. That was the thing. It's so funny that you said that about your parents, because even my Jehovah's Witness great grandmother started watching the Marvel movies, and it literally same thing. I said WandaVision, she loved, because she kind of got it, and Falcon and Winter Soldier, she really liked it, and then I was like, Loki, yeah, you're not gonna. It's you can stop here. Cause when it gets to the multiverse, you're just not gonna want to do anything.
And I feel so bad, because every time I've been popping up on the podcast lately, I've been kind of shitting on Loki every time it's come up, and I don't mean to do it, because I really enjoyed watching it. I truly did. I week to week, I loved watching it, and looking back, there were fantastic moments in the show. But man, just the more it ages, the more WandaVision and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier look good to me, and the less I want to revisit Loki. I don't know why. I think that, and I said this the other day with Tavares, the soundtrack's awesome. Visuals are beautiful.
Yes.
Everything about the series is awesome. It's just that there's some story elements that I can't fully get behind, is all.
You know, I'm so thankful that you actually made me. You know, well, you asked me, and I asked you to come onto the podcast for those episodes because, man, the discussions we had on that.
Yeah, if you want to go relive Loki, check out Loki Losers 1 through 6 here on the Penny Bloom podcast. Aurora joined me for, I believe, 3 of those, if not 4. But
it was great, but you know, like, but other than like Marvel stuff, I just been chilling. That's what I've been doing, dude. Just chilling.
Well, I've since my Shang-Chi craze here, and I think what you'll find here on this episode when we get to Shang-Chi is that I will be nothing but a ray of positivity and love for this movie, because holy shit is it great. But what it has spawned for me is obviously a love for Simu Liu and a love for Awkwafina that was already kind of there, but just bloomed into complete fruition once I saw her as Katie. So I jumped into Kim's Convenience on Netflix, a Canadian sitcom that has Simu Liu in it as one of the main characters. So I was like really, really interested in starting that now. Fantastic. Me and my girlfriend have already finished 2 seasons, and it's been wonderful. And then we checked out Awkwafina is Nora from Queens, which I knew was going to be funny as fuck. It's a Comedy Central series, and Awkwafina is funny as fuck. But yeah, the way that Shang-Chi has just made the last couple weeks of entertainment for me all around just fantastic is awesome. I loved it.
Oh yeah, Shang-Chi. My theater was crowded. I'm talking like I did not expect, and other than seeing the movie, I also saw Candyman, and that was crowded too. And Candyman was phenomenal. But
I'm sure Candyman is, however, that will not be one I go check out in theaters.
Yeah.
I am not the horror movie guy.
Oh, I'm not either. Like, my room has like hella mirrors, and I'm just waiting to be like, oh man.
I'd be like leaving the bathroom, like lingering to like make sure nothing's showing up behind me in the mirror. Like, no, I'm make sure I'm not staying there either. Like, I leave, but like my reflection stays. That'd be kind of freaky.
I remember my best friend asked, he was like, are you going to do a podcast about Candyman? And I said, I don't know, and then I don't want to because we're going to have to say his name so many times and like a reflective, camera that I'm just, this will be very likely to see him pop up right here. And then
I'm good. I'm good off that.
Yeah, we're good.
That'll be enough for me. But
yeah.
Yeah, so I've been back to the theaters I've been 3 times in the last week and a half, all to see Shang-Chi. I witnessed it in IMAX the most recent time yesterday. I was like, you know what? We're doing the Shang-Chi pod. I'm going to get one more viewing in because it's going to be great. How about we jump into that discussion?
Okay.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Penny Bloom podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dads, listening to Tomcats, talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. Get some weed in now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. All right, let's go. Penny Bloom podcast. It's the Penny Bloom podcast. Penny Bloom podcast. It's the Penny Bloom podcast. Penny Bloom podcast. Penny Bloom podcast.
So, Shang-Chi. I have nothing but good things to say about this movie. It's probably my favorite solo or standalone superhero film in the MCU. Specifically origin story, to get it rolling. I think back to Iron Man, Captain America, the First Avenger, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, the standalone first movies. And I don't think any of them captured just how much, like, I love Shang-Chi off this one movie. And I don't think any of the other characters like really hit for me straight off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, for me, I loved the idea that Tony Stark, you know, had some character development. He grew out of being a weapons developer and stuff, but he was still a douchey prick. Captain America, I'm not huge on the patriotism, so straight off the bat, Captain America was like a little like, Thor, okay, I liked Thor. I'll and Black Panther and Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange, but none of them quite as much as I like Shang-Chi straight out of the gate here. I loved it, and his supporting cast around him was exquisite. How'd you feel about the movie overall?
I loved the movie. I have not been so, like, my grandmother even said the same thing when we both went to go see it. She said, I forgot it was a Marvel movie. Like,
right. There's that moment. Yeah. There's a moment early on in the movie where, like, after we saw, like, Wenwu's backstory. Oh, yeah, and this will be a spoiler-filled review. I want to make that perfectly clear straight off the bat. We'll keep it spoiler-free for a while. And at a certain point, we'll be like, all right, we're going to jump full speed into spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
When we get the beginning where we're getting Wenwu's backstory with Xialing, and then later, what was Shang-Chi's mother's name? Was it Xialing?
I'm not even going to attempt to try because I don't want to be called problematic.
So I get you. Here, hold on, I'm going to check real quick just to make sure I was... Oh wait, that was his sister. My bad. Lee was his mother.
Yeah.
But after their whole backstory, and we cut to, you know, Shang-Chi and Katie at that dinner with their friends. Her friend says, "We now live in a world where anybody can be snapped away like that. Life can end just like that." And I was like, "Oh shit. I completely forgot this was in the MCU 15 minutes in." Like, the action, the visuals, I mean, it had the stereotypical Marvel color grading most of the time where it's like, if it can be gray, it's going to be gray. But they had enough color that it made it more palatable than most. And I think this one stands out amongst those colorful movies like Guardians of the Galaxies and Thor Ragnarok and stuff.
Yes, it was a lot of vibrant moments in this movie. Yeah,
which is, I just need more of that from Marvel because frankly, I'm getting tired of the gray battles and big cities. Like, I want more landscapes like we got here in this movie. It's beautiful, and I can't get enough of it. What who kind of stood out as like a favorite character besides Shang-Chi, say?
His best friend. If I was in that situation, I will be the best friend. Like, I loved it. And also, because I wasn't the only one that said this, didn't she have moments where she sounded like Scarlett Johansson? Like, her voice, like you didn't hear it? Because I said
that. Katie?
Huh?
We talking about Awkwafina?
Yeah, his best. Yeah. It was certain moments when she came off, like I heard Scarlett in her voice. Like, it was,
I don't know. I didn't at all. Mostly because Awkwafina's voice for me is just so damn distinct. I'm hearing nothing but Awkwafina.
Oh, but, it was just certain moments when I was like, "Oh, she sounds like Black Widow," and my grandma was like, Maybe it was just
next time I get a viewing of it, I'll have to think of that.
Yeah, but
dude, she was outstanding.
She was phenomenal. I loved her.
And I love Awkwafina's comedy. I always thought she was hilarious. What I didn't anticipate was like how much I would love this character. Like, I ship Shang-Chi and Katie so fucking hard. Like, I know they're best friends and stuff, but like, there were some moments there where I was
there were some moments. Like,
I was like, this is going to be a slow burn, but it's going to be good.
Good. Marvel, this is what you should have done with Loki. But
this is the thing though for me, is that they need a down the middle, knock this out of the park romance. You know, like, regain your footing, please, because all of these have gone bad for me. Like, I mean, not all of them. You know, Steve and Peggy is all right, and Tony and Pepper also okay, even though Tony dies, and et cetera, et cetera. But if we can just get like one like good, positive, healthy relationship in the MCU, they don't have qualms. She's completely understanding of his profession. She kind of comes along with him a lot of the time. I don't know. I think it'd be fun if they just like, yeah, just right down the middle. They get together eventually, and that's that.
Oh, I would love it, because I thought, like, the moment I knew they was going to like ship them together, most likely, and this is one relationship that I would love, like how you just said, when he was going to fight his sister for the first time and she saw him, and like literally me, my grandmother, every female or DL guy in the movie theater was like, ooh.
Nah, here's the thing. Simu Liu fine as hell. Like, and like, fine as hell. Like, this is a good, and so is Tony Leung, the guy who played Wenwu.
Yes.
Also a beautiful man. These are like these, and this was just top to bottom beautiful people. Everyone was sexy, and like I know that's the case in like all things Marvel. It always is.
Yeah.
But goddamn, everyone cute as hell.
Everybody, that would have been like a bisexual says pansexual guy's dream world to be like. It was, that movie was so.
I mean, I was happy.
But like, and I also the Wong and Abomination scene.
Ooh.
Loved it.
Ooh, yeah, and you know that popped up in trailers, so not much spoilers to be had. Maybe we dive into the little bit after in the later spoiler discussion. But Wong and Abomination was every bit as awesome as we thought it would be in the trailer, and the way the fight culminates and stuff is just like, oh shit, that was one of the coolest 15-second fights I've ever seen in a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it was the whole when he said, "You want to know how I feel?" scene, and then he made the portal, and like he punched the hell out of himself.
Ooh.
Like, and just how they was like having conversation after the fight. Like, it was so funny. And then what did he say when did Wong say something like, "You need to stop pulling your punches" when he was leaving or something?
He said he needed to start pulling his punches. Like,
that's what it was. Yes,
yeah,
it was.
But it was outstanding, and there are so many more great scenes to talk about in this movie, and I would like to dive into more details. So now, if you don't want any major spoilers for the movie, I would go ahead and fast forward. I can't promise you exactly when we'll be done with this conversation. I'd say a safe point would be like the hour mark. I'll pay attention, and then at the hour mark, I'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, go back to this point if we're done by then. It's all very confusing, but I'll try my best.
Yeah.
So spoilers begin now. So when it comes to this movie, the very first scene that made me go, holy fuck, this movie is going to be awesome. Wenwu and Lee dancing, but it looked like dancing, but they were straight up fighting at the beginning of the movie with that beautiful soundtrack playing, and they're spinning in the circle, and they make the eye contact and shit. And she knew, bro. She knew this guy doesn't have shit on me. And he was like, later in the movie, he was like, I was called the most dangerous man in the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And she beat the fuck out of him. It was outstanding.
I was thinking like this is giving me so much Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, it was just giving me it. And like the scenery and how like graceful it was. It was like ballet almost, instead of like fighting.
It was gorgeous. No, like the first time I watched it, I mean, I partook in Mary Jane on the way to the theater. So, we were nice and toasted when we were sitting down, and that's very early in the movie. And I was like brought to tears. I had chills. Like, I was like, this is going to be the greatest Marvel movie of all time. And, it's up there for me. Like, I love it. And like this this scene and this backstory with Wenwu is a backbone of this film, because our other co-host for the one of the co-hosts for this show, Tavares Pennington, he doesn't know how he feels about Wenwu, doesn't know how he feels overall about the movie, and it's because he missed the first 10 minutes. Like, I truly believe that if he had seen the backstory of Wenwu, explained why Wenwu was the way he was, then maybe he would have understood it a little bit more. Like, it is truly the backbone of this film.
I agree. Like, from that moment on, it's like it grabbed like my heart. Like, from that, it's like I feel like they really tried to like pull you into this one scene, like see like the grace, like, and then you realize that most of the shot, even though it was written in it was shot in the third person, there was a lot of first person scenes. So when she's like going across for him, looking at his arm going across, it's like you seeing what each other is seeing, and then it's like,
dude, and the fight choreography, it was just beautiful. Like, I was easily my favorite fight scenes in all of Marvel. That I have zero doubt in. The only thing that I think ever would have gave it a run for its money was the Winter Soldier, but I'm more of this tranquil vibe thing going on, so I'm gonna watch the shit out of these Ta Lo fights, because they are gorgeous. They are incredible at fighting. Like Wenwu says, it's a martial arts of the gods, so it's some real shit. And you know what? Adding on to the backstory being the backbone of the film, with Wenwu and Lee's relationship and getting like a full love story only in flashbacks was awesome. You know, like I loved seeing that, like they fought once and that was like, oh shit, yeah, we really hit it off. Like, and that was that, you know, and they were like, all right, fine, yeah, let's leave Ta Lo. But I thought it was nice to see a villain who is driven entirely by grief, like entirely, and a need to get that person back in their life. And I mean, obviously, we've seen this recently in Phase 4 with Wanda in WandaVision.
Yeah,
but seeing him slowly, seemingly lose his mind throughout the film over his grief for his dead wife, and obviously there was some interference with this dweller of the darkness or whatever, but I just like felt bad for him. And like,
yeah,
I don't usually feel bad for the villains in Marvel movies. There are certain ones that I felt bad for, like I felt bad for Killmonger at points, and I felt bad for Loki, obvious at multiple points, but I never feel bad for Thanos. Fuck that dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Fuck that dude. It's, you know, like, I know a lot of people might think, like, he was crazy, but, like you said, like, through the duration of the film, you see him slowly become more insane. And because, like, you said, like, he was supposed to be, like, the alpha of Earth. Like, basically, he was like, oh, I'm number one. I can
run this shit.
Yeah. And then meeting his, like, someone that's, like, top tier to him, like, that's stronger than him. And then also to have that, and then also to change his life, like she changed his life at that point. Like, he wasn't even...
That was the single most important thing about them for me, is that not only did she give up her power and her abilities in Ta Lo, and obviously if they could have lived there, she probably wouldn't have, but they couldn't. She was willing to leave for Wenwu, and the fact that Wenwu was also willing to give up 10,000 years of a reign over the 10 rings, and just being able to be like, you know what? I've conquered all I needed to conquer. I'm gonna take on this challenge, a family. And I loved those scenes of them on the couch with their kids, and just like, you totally understand Wenwu. like all the way through the film, regardless of like because to a certain extent he was also a victim. I mean, obviously he was terrible after the death of their mother.
Very terrible.
Very terrible.
CPS should have been called for these kids. Like,
yes.
Seriously.
Fuck a father who weaponizes their child. I'm looking at you, Batman. But you know, other than those moments, I understand Wenwu when he brings the kids back into his life there later in the movie with the water maze and stuff, and is like, help me save your mom. We can be together again. Like, you realize he really means that. He really thinks that's what's going to happen. So it's like, it's hard to not feel bad for him when you realize that this is like, nah, man, you're being mad manipulated right now.
Mad manipulated. Like, this is... I have a question. Do you think, especially with this movie now, do you think this phase of Marvel is going to be about loss and heartbreak for what we've been getting?
Well, I think there's been a certain shift in Marvel's focus from to like a more personal characterization. It feels like, because like, I mean, we're getting depth on these characters, and I don't feel like we ever got that sort of depth on. I mean, Tony, you get a certain extent of it, but his character art seems relatively obvious. You know, like that's always how it had to go. He faced some tragedy, and he, you know, obviously flying through like a portal in the sky and fighting aliens and nearly dying with a nuke and stuff is very traumatizing. But like, we see these other characters go through so much more. And I think that's why like the characterizations of them seem so much deeper. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I was just, because I was really thinking, especially with this movie. This movie, it's like it's always something. I felt like, you know, in WandaVision and this movie, it was like, not saying like Wanda was being tempted or manipulated, but like it seemed like she was manipulating herself in a way, and then like she was committing her own self-destruction when he is being actually manipulated by another being. And it's like they're both willing to sacrifice everything just for this one person. And it's like, I just really saw like, oh, we're gonna get some Greaves, and then Sylvie and Loki at the last episode of Loki, and it just seems like,
and I mean, like, later we'll talk about What If, but Vision and the most recent episode of What If.
That, I'm not even going to, okay.
That's a good one, but we'll save it for later. But like, the same general idea, you know, these people who are willing to risk it all to save the one they love. I mean, Doctor Strange in episode 4 of What If. I mean, like,
exactly.
It just keeps going in phase 4. It's nonstop. But it's a trope that's, while prevalent, hard not to resonate with. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yeah, fuck, that can drive you to be so fucking sad that you'd do anything. You know?
Very, like, his grief, like, especially when, what did he do? I think he grabbed his son. Yeah, when he, like, grabbed his shoulder, and how he looked into, like, his eyes or something like that. Like, we can come back together and be happy, and how he was. It was just like, wow, this man means, okay, at first I was calling his Cap. I said, Cap, you're just manipulating your kid. Right. And then he was legit, he was like, son, please. Like, it was like, wow, he's serious.
And the arc between Shang-Chi and Wenwu here, like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I couldn't help but put together all sorts of light side, dark side, father, son, sorts of connections here for Vader, Luke. Because, I mean, like, you got, obviously, Wenwu actually raised Shang-Chi, unlike Vader and Luke. However, at the end, it culminates in this battle, father versus son. son beats down father and takes his weapon and is ready to kill him, and ultimately sets the weapon aside and is like, you need to come home, we are family. And then their last moments are saving their child, and they're ultimately killed in those moments. And I was like, it's a perfect parallel to Star Wars. Like, it's the exact same thing that happens. But so obviously this story was going to resonate with me. But I absolutely loved that very aspect of it, and the fact that Wenwu dies protecting Shang-Chi. He disarms himself long enough to be taken by the Dweller in Darkness, and it costs him his life, but he's willing to pass the rings on to Shang-Chi now, which I think
love that. Yeah, I love that scene.
I don't know if you noticed, but earlier in the movie, when Shang-Chi's aunt, played by Michelle Yeoh, came up and like he was fighting with his fist, and she opened it up for him to teach him, and that's exactly what he had to do to let the rings go onto Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was a purposeful parallel, but it felt like it could have been. I really enjoyed it, and the effects on the rings.
Ooh. Oh, gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful. They definitely.
This shit is dope.
I feel like what he did, they wanted the rings to look more like, to be more grounded, not look as mystical as it was in the comic. But this is a good way of grounding something, but it works. Like the way
the original incarnation of the rings were literal rings.
Yeah,
like 10 rings that go on fingers, and they all looked different, and they all looked real cosmic and stuff. And it was real comic booky. And doing something like this, it was just perfect. Like it, and the fact that this is the full pull through all the way from Iron Man, the very first Iron Man, whenever the 10 rings supposedly takes Tony Stark captive. It's just awesome to see them still be around 13, 14 years later. That's great.
I love seeing Mandarin in this movie. Well, Mandarin.
Yeah. Trevor Slattery, man. And he's got his best friend Morris.
Yeah. I laughed so hard. Is that Morris right there?
That's Morris right there. I got this Morris plushie.
I thought that was Appa. Yeah, that is Morris.
Morris plushie. He ain't got no face.
Okay.
We had to celebrate the occasion right.
Yeah, we doing this right. I love it.
Yeah, he's watching along right with us.
But I remember like my movie theaters was like laughing so hard when he came on scene. It was so hilarious.
Ooh, dude. And that moment whenever Shang-Chi and Katie are like, oh, what is that? And he's like, what's what? And they're like, that thing, why doesn't it have a face? And he's like, oh, Morris, they can see you. I was like, oh my fucking God, this is outstanding. And I've been seeing some tweets that I agree with, for the most part, about how some of the comedic attempts in Marvel movies are the biggest detractors from those Marvel movies. And I'd say for this movie in particular, they knocked it out of the park with the comedy. Awkwafina was hilarious. Every scene with Trevor Slattery and Morris was hilarious, and Trevor played by Ben Kingsley, who's fantastic. But that was all very funny. There is one moment in this film, though, that all 3 times I've watched it, I've been like, man, like that's a real MCU trying to insert comedy that just shouldn't have been there, for my money. And it's when Shang-Chi is explaining to Awkwafina on the plane his backstory and how his father raised him as an assassin and he was trained and et cetera, and they're interrupted by the fucking what are they called?
Flight attendant?
Flight attendants.
Yeah.
There you go. I don't fly on planes ever, so I completely forgot. Yeah. Flight attendant. And she's like, beef or vegetable. And like every time I watch it, I'm like, there was no reason to interrupt the scene like that. Like that was mad intense and like mad important. and then you pulled me all the way out of it with it, and it wasn't funny. You know, so it's like if it was funnier and like the moment that followed after that was a little funny, I wish it would have been like he finished the story and then she approached. And it was like a complete change of tone then. But like to cut it off in the middle, I was just like, ugh.
Well, it was so funny to me. It was very funny to me because it reminded me of a scene in this movie called Soul Plane, where Kevin Hart.
Oh shit!
That's what it was so funny to me because I thought that they was going to do a Soul Plane reference, but I said no, we probably not that progressive with Disney yet. But it was like it reminded me of when the girl was like, "Oh, stroganoff or chicken?" He was like, "I'll have the chicken." "Oh, we only have stroganoff." And he like, "Well, why did you ask me what?"
Beef, because you only have beef, right?
Yeah. And it was that reminded me of Soul Plane.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Much. See, like that specific part, very funny. Like I thought that was a funny moment. I just thought to interrupt the scene to do it was irresponsible. They should have waited until the whole thing was over.
Flight attendants don't really do that because I flew and played. If you're having a conversation, they would just ignore you because they don't want to deal with you.
Right.
But yeah, right. that was definitely, I could see it. That was definitely a Marvel scene. That's a Marvel scene.
Another scene that was like ridiculously funny to me and I think was meant to be funny was the bus scene. Like all the way through. The entire sequence was funny. Just from the very get-go where the shit starts to pop off and Shang-Chi starts beating ass and Katie's like, what, does he look like a fighter? and then the dude smacks the shit out of Katie and he's like, okay, well now I have to beat the shit out of all of you for that.
Yeah.
And he does indeed. Absolutely wrecks all of them. And it's just like chaos starts to break out. Cliff starts recording on his phone. So I'm going to grade this fight as we go. I took some and I don't know if you remember this guy popping up in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes, I do. I do.
He tells Spider-Man to do a flip. But yeah, I love this guy. So that was a very, very funny part of that fight. Then when Shang-Chi takes the laptop from the girl they were talking about earlier, how Katie was like, that is exactly the daughter my mother wished came out of her vagina. Like, he destroys the laptop. And when Razor Fist got up, I don't know why, I thought that was the funniest shit. Because, like, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, we just got a random white dude with a blade coming out of his arm, just like all of a sudden being the biggest problem here. Where did he even come from?
I said the same thing. Like, what the fuck? Like, he was back there the whole time. Like, I was just like,
I thought that shit was hilarious. And I thought that, you know, the way it culminates too with Katie and the garbage truck working together to stop the bus, and we make a good team.
And he's like, open the door. Open it.
Oh, dude. No, see, that was like one of the funniest action sequences that was also just cool ever. And like, that was the first scene, obviously, where we see just how much of a badass Shang-Chi is.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh fuck, is he a badass? He could give anyone in the MCU hands. I'm telling you right now.
Literally. Like, I thought that was going to be a lot more slow-mo sequences in this movie, but I was surprisingly, like, wrong. Like, I thought, you know, usually when it's like
I was so happy with the fact that there wasn't too.
I know, because you know the typical
that's how you got to watch this style of martial arts. Like, you can't, I don't want the shit in slow-mo. I want to see, like, part of the just graceful nature of martial arts in general is how fast they do stuff. Like, they are incredibly quick.
Yeah.
So like seeing shit like the fights with Death Dealer, with the helicopter outside on top of the skyscraper, like that shit was awesome. That like there were just so many beautiful sequences like that.
I really like, cause like I said, like, you know, typical with the martial arts movies, it's always the slow and to really, it's like fast and then slow and then fast and getting slower. And I was like, oh, we're going to get a lot of slow motion stuff on this bus. No, I was surprisingly wrong. Like, and I love the fact
and
that
when they did go slow mo, it was effective. Like when Razor Fist took out the sword for the first time and swung at Shang-Chi, and you heard the music kicking. That was like, dung, 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 and he's watching it like,
like it made sense. It made sense.
It makes, and see, that's what's cool, is they used it effectively. And like when I mentioned like the fight with Death Dealer, when like the knives go up in the air and they reach for them, they go in slow motion, but as soon as they catch them, it's right back, you know? And that's what I loved about that. I also love that Death Dealer got the full Boba Fett treatment, just being a super cool designed character. Ahead of the film, I saw like the Funko Pop and stuff, and I was like, oh, that character is going to be cool as fuck. This dude barely talked and got killed in the goofiest way. So, same as Boba Fett in the original trilogy of Star Wars. Like, he was like, I was like, oh, this dude's going to be dope. Look at him. He's sick as fuck. And then he's beating kids, and I was like, no. I guess I should have known his name was Death Dealer, but
it was.
I've been a sucker for the merch here.
You know, like another scene, and I don't know if you're really like well endowed in the Harry Potter series, but the maze scene, that definitely gave me like a Harry Potter-esque feel.
Okay. No, I can see it. I can see it for sure.
Both of the scenes with the maze, it really gave me Harry Potter feels, with like the way that it was.
I can feel that, and I think to Goblet of Fire a little bit for some reason.
Goblet of Fire, exactly.
That's kind of where I go with that, but yeah, I can see that for sure, and I love that scene, the one where Katie's driving through.
She was driving her ass off. This is, I'm telling you.
Oh my God. She was a badass behind the wheel. Bro, this was some Fast and Furious shit.
I was about to say that, Colton. I'm telling you, Fast and the Furious gonna see this movie and run with it. They're gonna be like, y'all liked it in Shang-Chi, so we're gonna put it, like I'm telling you, they're gonna do that. They're this close to doing that.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I've never been a huge Fast and Furious guy. Yeah. And it's mostly because the entire movie is this exact scene. I like when one scene is like this and the rest of the movie is something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they use the car scenes effectively. Like I like the way they introduced it with Awkwafina whipping that badass sports car around, telling Shang-Chi she was going to go slow, and then just zooming in that bitch. And then obviously that's our preface to the bus scene where she takes over driving for that. And I liked that. And then when they steal Razor Fist's car, and the fact that Katie liked that car.
Yeah, and it was a Tesla. Was it a Tesla?
I think it was a BMW.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it was the BMW, but the way it was like customized to say Razor Fist on the side. And
such an asshole car. Such an asshole car.
Douchebag. He's such a douchebag. But
asshole.
But Katie was whipping that hoe. She could drive her ass off. She said she's the Asian Jeff Gordon, and she wasn't lying.
Like I also loved the scene when like Shang-Chi is in with her family and things like that, and they like, so did the grandmother, or was it a mother? I can't remember who, but did they say something about like them getting married or having kids or something?
That was Katie's grandma.
Yeah,
she was like, so when are you two gonna get married? In Chinese, and he responded, oh no, we're just friends. And she was like, go. Like, get the fuck out of my face before I fight you.
Man, I would have. Man, Katie, like, she's going to jump. Like, okay, let me not even say that. Oh, I forgot this podcast is rated R. But like, come on, you should have. She was looking at that man in that light, coming out like, yeah, that's gonna be my baby father.
Nah. And here's the thing, I can't blame her. This man looked fine as hell all movie. He never looked bad.
Even as a valet driver, he looked good.
That was clean. The red vest, and like, I was like, I know that dude got out the car looking all pimp, but I see Shang-Chi here, and I'm like, oh.
But when they got out of the sisters fight club, that whole bamboo fight when it was on like the what was it? When it was on the outside of the building on the bamboo sticks, I think that's what it is.
Yes.
Amazing.
No, this is like one of those points where I started getting these influences from other movies. Like I got some huge Spider-Man vibes from this scene.
Yes.
Specifically the Amazing Spider-Man. Like that's kind of what I got from it. And then I had an Amazing Spider-Man 2 war flashback. My heart leapt out my chest whenever Shang-Chi dropped Katie, and I was like, nah, bro, not again. Not again, bro. No, don't let her fall to her death. Thank God she got saved. But I've seen that scene 3 times, and literally every time it gets me like,
I really thought she was gone. I thought she was gone. I said no.
I thought that was gonna be like a big sacrifice for Shang-Chi going forward. Like he was done with the shit. But like, thank God it wasn't. Because I was gonna be like, no, you get Awkwafina to kill her off 35 minutes into the movie.
I was really liking her. I said, because this is misogynistic. Even though it's not, I'm going to say it is.
Right? Nah, yeah. Like I was holding Emily's hand in the theater, and like she started falling, and I squeezed, and I was like, fuck, no, like no.
But like the sister, I love, but no. When she sung Hotel California, I was.
That was outstanding. That was outstanding.
I said, yes, she is my spirit animal. Like, oh my God, that girl is so funny.
Strongly recommend you watch Nora from Queens, just because like it seems like it could basically be the same character. And Simu Liu pops up in that too as a character named Garbage Boy, which is just
I'm
funny.
A stan of hers. I will stan that woman now. Like I love her.
Awkwafina is Nora from Queens on HBO Max and Comedy Central. Season 2 is on right now, actually. But yeah, their dynamic was one of the best of the film. However, another character that really brought the heat in this movie was Shang-Chi's sister, Xialing. She was outstanding. And also, this is her first acting credit.
Are you serious?
Yes. IMDb, she hasn't been in anything else.
So her life just blew up out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. She's all of a sudden in an MCU film. And is clearly going to be in a 10 Rings spinoff, which is like awesome.
Damn. No, this should really show companies like, hey, this actor that's been in like 100 and something movies, you can pick up somebody new. Like, I thought that she was in stuff like this already. Like, cause she acted
like
so
the behind
well.
the scenes stories with her are outstanding. Mengar Zhang, I think is how you pronounce her name. Mengar Zhang. But she went into production single, left production married, fell in love with one of the like fight coordinators for the martial arts. They got married. Simu Liu purchased a honeymoon for them at Disneyland, and like they all went together and stuff, and like it's just cute as hell. And this is like her first acting credit, and it's like, what a fucking life all of a sudden, huh?
That woman is blessed. Blessed.
That is outstanding. It's just one of my favorite behind the scenes stories I've ever heard. Just like first acting credit, meets her husband.
This is her first acting credit.
And she was outstanding in this movie.
Like, I really got to give her props across the tens, across the board. What? She was badass. How she was whipping, and like even how she gave like her how her face was like when it showed intense scenes and.
No, and dude, and like later in the movie when they make it to Ta Lo and she's wearing her mother's robes that she wore in the fight with Wenwu at the beginning. She's rocking the same green and yellow robes, and she does the whole training sequence and stuff. I loved that. I absolutely loved that. And I mean, she's obviously super badass for being like 16 and starting a fight club.
Badass. That I really feel like everybody in this movie, like the sister, Shang-Chi, what's the sister's name again?
Xialing.
They could give everyone in the MCU fighting, like they can whip ass. I'm going to say it because
No, bro, they could give anybody the hands. They're lethal together. I really hope that we don't ever have to see them fight again. Because at the end of this movie, Shang-Chi's under the impression she's gone back to the Ten Rings to shut down Wenwu's operations, when in fact she just took over. And we see men and women training side by side in the Ten Rings, mirroring the shot from the introduction where Wenwu was watching over.
I don't think she's going to turn evil doing that. When I saw that post credit, I don't think it's going to be an evil thing though.
Well, here's the thing. I think we're getting into more of like, I think Sharon Carter and Jia Ling are going to link up.
You think so?
The power broker and the Ten Rings, dude. Yeah, it has to happen.
Okay.
I think they are going to absolutely link up somehow. I don't see how it doesn't happen. And I would love if they are somehow the antagonists in Captain America 4. I think that would be perfect.
That would be amazing. I didn't even I forgot about Captain America 4. I forgot about it. But, cause I remember I've seen a lot of hate feedback because Captain America 4 is happening on the internet. I remember seeing that. But, I thought that we was going to see Shang-Chi and his sister again until like, there was like another Avengers type thing. That's when I thought we was going to see them again, but you make a valid point.
Well, also interesting that in that other post-credit scene where we see Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner and Wong there with Shang-Chi, that they were like, Katie, you had a really good shot with that bow and arrow that one time. Come through.
I know. I was like, she didn't even... I was like, that was that
like,
easy?
Dude, super good for her and all. But like, I don't understand how that happened. And like, I got to like rolling in my mind. I was like, is Haley Steinfeld playing Katie Bishop, or is she playing a different character? And is this Katie actually the Katie Bishop who becomes like a Hawkeye? And then like, that's obviously been, it's not. Haley Steinfeld's playing Katie Bishop.
No,
so,
I know, but that would have been like a very good fan theory. This movie came out way before Hawkeye got into production, because I would have bought that. I would have bought that.
And like, I can't stress this enough. I am so not excited for Hawkeye.
When I saw the trailer for Hawkeye, Colton, I mean it. You was in my head the whole time. No, I'm being serious. Like, I'm not capping. I feel like Colton's like,
I hate watching that trailer, bro. I'm hate watching that trailer.
He was just like, I hate him. I hate him so much.
Nah, dude. And like, I like, here's the thing is that like, I can't believe I saw a tweet that was like, it's crazy watching that Hawkeye trailer, because they just like Marvel picked up a dude who was on a hot streak for like 6 months in 2010 and they've just wrote it out.
They did, because he's not really memorable to me other than Hawkeye. Like, I don't think of anything else.
He was in like a Bourne movie and like in a bunch of like one-off action flicks and stuff. But like, I don't know. Jeremy Renner's just never been compelling to me. I don't think he's a great actor.
He only has like one. He's one of those. I could understand Tony Stark, but he's like one of those characters who's like always one way. Like it's only one personality. Because Hawkeye is kind of like not as happy-go-lucky as Green Arrow and DC, but he's definitely has his moments where he's like dark.
He's wittier. Like he's got more. He's more quippy, like Spider-Man.
Yes,
like, that's kind of more of his thing. And I mean, we see that every now and then throughout these movies, but I don't think we've seen nearly enough of it for my money. He's had some good moments here and there, though. Like, I don't want to completely dismiss Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye performance.
But you just hate him. That's just what you
no, and that's the thing, is that I really enjoy the character. Like, I like Clint Barton, and I like in comics more specifically, I don't think he's gotten the due and proper on the big screen. In the comics, Clint Barton's a wonderful character. I really enjoy him, but I just don't think he's been brought to life perfectly well. And part of that is that I just don't fuck with Jeremy Renner. He's one of these dudes who just like, if he's on it, I'm probably not going to like it. Like, I saw, like, looking at like the movie trailers in Shang-Chi, there was the Steven Spielberg West Side Story. And I was like, oh, this looks good.
Oh, yeah.
And then Ansel Elgort popped up, and I was like, ah, shit.
Colton.
I was like, ah, shit, I'm out.
Now I don't like it.
Now I don't want to watch this movie.
That movie looks really good, but
no, it looked tough as fuck. And like, same with like Dear Evan Hansen, but that dude's like 40 playing an 18-year-old kid, so I can't get behind it.
Yeah.
like dude, the song sounded dope. They're from the same creators of like La La Land and The Greatest Showman. Like those songs are going to be gas.
Oh,
I just know it.
Yeah.
But like,
be some hits.
that dude is like 35 playing an 18-year-old kid, maybe 18. So like, I'm like, it just feels icky.
We need a lot more movie commentary from you, Colton. Like a lot more hate.
Oh, bro, we got all sorts of movie commentary throughout the history of Penny Bloom. It's
I'm talking like we need like hate movies from. I want to see you just talk about a movie that you hate. Like I just
see, that's the thing though, is that like it's rare that I hate a movie. It's more likely that I hate something that had to do with the creation of the movie or a person in it. Because like, even like I said, I don't really particularly fuck with Jeremy Renner. I like the movies he's in a lot of the time, you know, like I'm sure Hawkeye is going to be swell. I have no doubt that it's going to be good and I'm going to watch it, but like, I'm not too excited for it. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, can't wait for Hawkeye.
Wow, are you even going to do podcasts about Hawkeye?
No, we definitely won't be doing podcasts about Hawkeye. It might come up. It might be like what we're doing with like What If. Like, I'm very excited about What If. Love What If, but like, it's just not the kind of pressing weekly.
Unless that's like one scene in the season finale of Hawkeye that has to be talked about.
See, that's the thing too, is that like if it's worthy of being talked about, like as I'm watching, I'm like, oh shit, this has really knocked me on my ass. Then I'm there. But right now, it just looks like MCU Die Hard, and I've seen Die Hard.
I'm dead, but wow. Okay.
That was quite a tangent. Maybe we get back to Shang-Chi.
Yeah. So, I was actually thinking about something I was about to say about Shang-Chi when you were saying that. So I know I might sound so crazy because I don't really know this series a lot, but when they went into what's the name of the place that they were in when they got through the maze? What was that called again?
That was the gate to Ta Lo.
Yes. When they actually got there, I remember just saying like, wow, this is a lot of Pokemons. Like, I was just like...
Well, that's what's interesting though, is that like, these are also creatures from Chinese myth.
Yes.
Like, the nine-tailed fox specifically, and Morris here, I don't know what the creature's name technically is, but this is a creature from Chinese mythology. Mm-hmm. And so are those nine-tailed foxes and those giant lion beasts I've seen sculptures of stuff. Seeing them brought to life was awesome. Like, and phoenix birds, phoenixes, loved it, and I know you loved it.
But yeah.
But yeah, it was gorgeous. All those creatures, and specifically the gate to Ta Lo, like going under the waterfall and going through a water portal, and it just kind of circles up, and they just kind of floated right out in this ugly Razor Fist car. I thought that was goofy as hell. Like, it was like, oh, this is all so pretty, and then it's just the fucking BMW with Razor Crest spray painted on the side.
But those animals were gorgeous. Even the lion. Like, I know it's maybe not called a lion, but I was going to call it that. No,
it's not. But here, I'll actually look into it right now, because I saw a Twitter thread that was kind of going over them.
But they were so beautiful. I was in that scene like, wow. Like, this movie is gorgeous. Like, the CGI, they had a budget.
No, this shit was beautiful. Okay, so I found the thread.
Wow.
So this little guy right here, Morris, is a Dijang, which is the patron god of mountains in Chinese mythology that causes chaos and confusion wherever it goes and enjoys song and dance. Cutie. We got the phoenix, the mythical bird, nine-tailed fox, a mythical fox that has gained spiritual awareness and magical powers, usually by absorbing the natural energy of the world over many years. Guardian lions. There you go.
Okay. It was a lion.
Shishi. Shishi is what they are in Chinese.
Shishi.
Shishi.
Okay.
Mystical beasts which guard temples, homes, and other buildings. And then obviously the dragon.
Oh, and when Shang-Chi, when he was in the water going down and how the dragon came out and just looked at him, beautiful scene. That underwater scene was so epic. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like,
no, bro, like I can't. I keep thinking about this movie and I keep getting goosebumps. Like I'm trying not to use recency bias too heavy, but I think it's gonna shake out to be like top 5 Marvel ever for me, maybe even top 3. Like, this shit is fantastic to me. I can't get enough of it.
Like, there's no way you can hate this movie. If you hate this movie, something is wrong with you. Like, like the the Dark World must be your favorite movie if you hate this. Like, I don't.
Right.
Like, right. I don't know. Like, and then, like, this movie was so well done. Like, even how they fixed the Mandarin thing. Like, how briefly the father said, I've been called a lot of things.
That was outstanding. And how he was like, he was like, the direct reference to Iron Man 3 being like a terrorist from your country wanted to appropriate, and I loved the use of the word appropriate, his 10 rings. And he didn't know his name, so he went with the Mandarin. Yep, a chicken dish. Americans were afraid of an orange.
That was so funny. I said, ooh. Like, I was just in there just like, damn, they are shitting on this third movie, like, damn. I was just like...
Well, and that's like, that was always one of my thoughts during the movie, was how incredibly racist it was of whoever the big bad was in that movie, the guy who opens AIM, I think.
All I know his name was what, Aldrich Killian? Was that his name?
Oh, yeah, Killian.
Yeah.
We saw some of that, the stuff he was creating, that, what was that shit in the movie? The stuff that turned people orange and, like, exploded.
Into, like, what, Human Torches? I forgot. It was some type of... I forgot.
Regardless, we saw one of those guys in the fighting scene. One of them was fighting a Black Widow, which I thought was super dope. In one of the low-level fighting rings.
Oh! Wow. Colton, it would have been amazing if I could have seen this movie with you, because you would have pointed out things I didn't even realize. They was fighting a Black Widow, right?
Yeah, it was a Black Widow, and I'm trying to think of what that fucking chemical was.
I can't remember, because I remember Pepper got it. What was it?
Iron Man 3... What the fuck was it? I'm not gonna move on until I find it.
He said, I'm not gonna live. No, like, that's how you know this movie is phenomenal, that they touched on so many MCU things. Like, this has been going back to so many movies. Extremis, yes.
Extremis. We saw one of those motherfuckers fighting a Black Widow. But I don't remember where that stemmed from. But oh yeah, him explaining that that I always thought it was mad fucked up of Aldrich Killian to have invoked a man, call him the Mandarin and cover him in this Middle East aesthetic to invoke a certain xenophobic and Islamophobic reaction from America.
Yeah, really, really, really awful. Then I like how they kind of say, like, well, I kind of impersonated him, and guess what? I'm here to die. That's kind of...
No. Like... I loved that explanation, man. He was, and have you seen that one shot on Disney Plus, the All Hail the King? It's about it's a Marvel short, and it is about Trevor Slattery in prison and how he gets broken out of prison by the Mandarin, or the supposed Mandarin.
I have not seen it. So what happened?
You have to watch it. You have to watch it. It's outstanding.
I'll watch it.
But like it's a direct prequel. It's what he explains. It's perfect. But when he's like, I got there, they were ready for my execution, and I broke out into my Macbeth. I couldn't get enough of it.
No, I loved it when
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I loved it when he was like dead, and what was Morris. I love it when he was going up to. He said, "I'm not dead. No, play dead." And he just laid on his back.
Not actually dead. It's a performance. Now get down.
That I just love how insane he is. He's the most sane person ever. Like, seriously.
Oh, I love that. Like, I want to know what his connection to Morris was. How could he understand Morris? There's something mystical going on with Trevor Slattery, bro, because like that thing was like, whenever, I love that he was the only one who understood it too. Like, he was like, my friends, I am but a transitory vessel in which to interpret the information in which this beautiful creature of which we have no knowledge can stem from, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, he was just like, this thing is mystical as fuck. Listen to it. That's all.
Yeah, I loved it when he was talking and Morris is in his lab and he's like, y'all gotta understand, yada, yada, yada. Like, we talking very serious. And then all the time he's like, oh, he said it's time to go.
You can go.
Like,
you can go.
You can go. It's just like,
Morris says go.
He says, all right, okay, right here. Okay, now we're going to die if you don't turn, like, when I say turn, like.
Stay in the bucket.
That this movie was so, like I said, I forgot that it was a Marvel movie. It does not.
On multiple occasions. And like, there's not a lot that makes it feel like a Marvel movie.
It's not.
Besides Trevor's presence in general at times, and the mention of Thanos snapping away half the population, and then obviously the post-credit scene with Banner and Captain Marvel, in which I was like, this is wild. Like, seeing him next to them feels weird because he feels like he's in just such a different
his own identity. Like, he's his own universe almost. And it's like, that's what I was saying before in the X-Men pod. Like, when the X-Men ever comes into the MCU, I want them to feel so separated. Like, so separated, which I feel like we might get. But this movie was they did that so well.
Well, and I think what we might be getting into with the X-Men might be like a multiverse, like a different multiverses X-Men. Like, we'll just see. We'll kind of see
sense.
that.
Yeah, for them just to pop up out of nowhere. But and I like it when you said that this movie had like the MCU joke. You were saying like the flight attendant, joking out. That kind of remind me when Happy and Peter was talking in the bathroom, and that one kid just came out and started washing his hands. It was just like, yeah, that's exactly what that scene reminded me of.
It's like, all right, like, okay, I get it, but it wasn't that funny. Move on.
I love how critical you are of these like little things.
I'm critical of the comedy, man. If it's gonna be funny, it's gotta be fucking funny, or else it's like, it was pointless.
Now, even the scene in what was it, Civil War, that wasn't supposed to be funny, when she was like, "Move or you will be moved." Like, it was just, that came off funny. Like, it was just like, damn.
No, see, and that's the thing, is that like, I'm also not incredible. I talk like I'm incredibly critical of these things. However, I don't really give a shit. I also understand that most of the comedy in these movies is there for children. So it's like, it's not like it's going to be exactly wonderful to people who are older and have a more advanced humor. Because the jokes in MCU, the MCU jokes are incredibly corny, and I appreciate incredibly corny jokes. No doubt. They just got to be well placed.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I also love the use of curse words in this movie. I'm so grateful.
They was throwing out shit. For real. It was perfectly used every time. I remember it.
I love the curse words. I was like, yeah, we're we're definitely getting somewhere with this. I'm in love with it.
Well, it's funny. There's actually this Netflix documentary Netflix like mockumentary from early 2021 called The History of Curse Words. And the one on the word shit was like, we're seeing shit become less and less of a problem. Like eventually shit will become what we modernly view crap as, like within the next 10 to 15 years. Eventually, like you'll see a bunch of people accepting relatively young children saying shit.
Yeah,
you know what
shit.
I'm saying? That's shit. Who gives a shit? Like,
yeah.
It's like,
fucking shit. Like, who cares? Like, it doesn't, that word doesn't.
And that was the one they effectively used, when Awkwafina gets the bow right through the dragon's throat. Holy shit. And Shang-Chi at one point throws out you're gonna go to my mom's village with this bullshit? And I was like, okay. Cause like, that's what cursing is for, to portray the passion. Like,
Yes.
that's really what it's for. And like him throwing out a bullshit in that moment made me go, okay, he really does not fuck with this. It lets me know.
And then I also liked, what was another funny scene? I love how the guy was like, don't die. And then all of a sudden he's dead. Like, it's just like, it was just like, what the fuck? Like, but wow, I love how
that was one of the funnier scenes too, is when Razor Fist is like, why would we team up with you? We are the mighty 10 rings.
And then the weapon.
And then Death Dealer gets killed in one of the funniest deaths of the movie. And it's like, okay, yeah, we'll work with you.
Yeah, he was like, oh yeah, let me drop this real quick. Give me that dragon scale. Dragon scale, dragon scale. Like, it was just like, seriously. Like, I would have been singing the fuck out of that song in that fight. But it was what was another I just lost something. I love how she kind of didn't break the fourth wall, but then she kind of did. When she's like, I became a good ass archer in like one day. Like, that happened.
Yeah, bro, at the end when she's like, I didn't even know what I was doing, like we got out there and I'd only learned how to fire a bow like a day earlier, and now all of a sudden we're fighting these soul suckers on the and I was over there fighting I was on the back of the Great Protector fighting the Mega Soul Sucker. The Mega Soul Sucker was such a nasty bitch.
Such a nasty bitch. Like, that whole
the Mega Soul Sucker was such a nasty bitch.
Like, I'm serious. And then I just like love how they was like, okay, thank you for pranking me. Wow. And then Wong just like, Shang-Chi.
Oh, and she's like, y'all are making fun. And I don't know if you noticed that, but as she's moving her hand like that, the whole portal opens, and it's like it matches the motion of her hand in that moment.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that.
And like, I only noticed it because I've seen the fucking movie 3 times now. But it's a great movie. And another one of my favorite little details in the movie is that Shang-Chi has an Outcast poster on his wall in San Francisco. Yeah, he had the Stank Anya poster, which I just love that, and Kung Fu Hustle poster up there, and another one for the Warriors, which I thought was cool.
Because it's funny how Marvel is starting to touch. I noticed that, like, Marvel is really touching these music, celebrities. Like, what was it? Wong with Beyonce, and
oh yeah. Well, what I love, speaking of the music thing in Shang-Chi, have you listened to the Inspired By album, the Shang-Chi album?
Nope.
They released the Black Panther one with the Black Panther that was like by Kendrick Lamar and Top Dog Entertainment.
Yeah, I know that one.
And then the End of the Spider-Verse one had like Sunflower and stuff, and then Shang-Chi got one. And it seems like what they did with like Kendrick Lamar and Top Dog Entertainment on Black Panther was like 88 Rising and Nicki and Rich Brian on this album. Like, it was like and it's outstanding. Like, it's all I've been able to listen to. Like, fuck Donda, fuck Certified Lover Boy. I have not been listening to any of that. I've been listening to Shang-Chi. This shit is outstanding. Like, there's some wonderful songs, and it's very prevalent throughout the movie. And once you've listened to that album several times, like I have, and then I saw it for the 3rd time yesterday, that it's all over the movie. It's in the background. And yeah.
I heard that for Black Panther 2, was it Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce and somebody else's? They were supposed to be like producing that album. Like I saw so many articles.
Are they doing that for Black Panther 2?
Yeah, Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar. I forgot who else is on it, but I'm like, people gonna be making a cookout watching this movie. I'm serious. They're gonna be like,
that's gonna be a tough one to get right. I'm excited to see what they do, just because that's gonna be so incredibly difficult.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna have to do like a Paul Walker thing what Fast 6 had to do. Like they're gonna have to really make it
rough. I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm incredibly intrigued to see though. Nevertheless, this movie just knocked it out of the park on all fronts for me. I thought the soundtrack was perfect. Sound design was amazing. The visuals were fantastic. And when Shang-Chi and Wenwu were fighting there at the end, when like he has 5 rings and Wenwu has 5 rings, and
beautiful,
they're surrounded by the smoke and like the dark walls and the dragon scales falling off the giant cliff. Like it's just like, oh my fucking god.
And then I like how Shang-Chi's was like, what was it? His like a golden white light, and then his dad's is like blue, and it's just like, and I like how that it's like he's like blossoming when his father's in grief, and it's like,
and those the parallels between that fight and that fight at the very beginning that was like the one that let me know this is going to be a fucking movie between Wenwu and Lee at the very beginning. Just like the callbacks, the parallels between Shang-Chi fighting Wenwu and Lee fighting Wenwu it was exquisite. The slow motion looking at each other and the taking the 5 rings as they moved around him and him thinking back to how his mother taught him how to move his hands and stuff. And that was actually an instruction on how to control the rings if the day ever came. Like, it's like, oh my God, this is outstanding. And in the background throughout that scene, you can see the Great Protector like flying around, which is super dope. And it's something I didn't notice until I saw in IMAX. And it looks just super pretty. It's just super cool.
I want to go check that movie out again. I really do, because I can't wait. I know when this movie comes out on DVD, I'm going to rewind the first 10 minutes over and over again. I'm serious. It's so beautiful.
It's going to be on Disney Plus in like 30 days.
Oh, because I'm big on that. Like I'm like,
oh yeah,
that movie is
I've already spent $75 seeing it 3 times for me and Emily both. So might as well shell out the $30 for the Disney Plus version when it comes out.
Yes. Do you think they're going to like show more of of course they're going to show more of the power of the 10 rings, because I feel like they didn't really show the variations of the different abilities that it does have.
It seems like that's a future step here though, given the ending here where Shang-Chi, in that absolutely badass scene where he throws all 10 rings into the Dweller of Darkness and flies all the way up and thinks back to his mother and does all the hand motions and stuff on his way down, and then brings together his knowledge from Wenwu and his mother, because that's what she instructed him to do. Take what we've taught you and make it your own, which I loved. And like he did. He took elements of both their styles and brought it into that one last moment with the 10 rings where they activated some sort of beacon. And that's the chain. That's like how we're going to be like, oh, so this is something much bigger. Yeah. Like these 10 rings are something much larger than we could have ever anticipated. And the first time I went and saw this movie, I actually saw it with Joseph on opening night. And that moment where we get to Ta Lo and his aunt is explaining how to what the village does, how they protect this realm and yours from the dark portal, where the Dweller in Darkness lives behind. I remember in that moment, me and Joe looked at each other like, Mephisto?
Oh my God. I would have been probably on the third seat. It's probably you, him, me, and I just looked over and been like, don't start that
bro.
Shit. Don't start it.
Bro, it was hilarious. And like I knew that wasn't what was about to happen, but like the way it was phrased and stuff, I was like, maybe.
I'm gonna be like, don't. I was telling Joseph a joke. I said, me, you, Colton, Kyla, to whoever, we all need to go see Spider-Man together. This is gonna be
right.
a trip.
An event.
We are gonna go see that.
It's an event. Absolutely. But
Mephisto.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
But I love this movie, and I can't say enough good things about it. I could just go on and on and on about this movie. Is there anything real big that we missed, you feel like? I mean, I guess we could theorize. What do you think the beacon is to? What do you think it's calling out to?
I feel like it's calling up to something in a different dimension almost. Because I'm not gonna say no one in the universe knows, because we only talk to Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner. So we can't really say that. But the simple fact that Wong doesn't even know.
There's no record of it. There's no record of it there. When they activated it, they felt it at what is it? Karmatage?
Yeah.
Like, they felt it there when he activated that. Like, that's some mystical shit coming from some sort of weird dimension if nobody knows what the fuck it is. Like, I couldn't even tell you right now. Is it going to be I'm curious.
Didn't the rings come from an alien race? It's like alien technology?
In the comics, but it's like, I feel like they're going to go a different direction. Like,
yeah.
They're going to kind of do their own thing with the 10 rings completely. And if that be the case, I'm 100% here for it. What they've done with them so far is super cool. I've seen speculation about like Galactus potentially this is the summoning of Galactus to the MCU. I don't know if I buy that.
The 10 rings with Galactus, I don't see how that would compare to the Silver Surfer. I feel like that's a stretch.
Yeah, I know. I want to say that it's not a beacon calling to anything in specific, but more a beacon that the 10 rings greater power has been activated. If you are if you feel that you want to get the 10 rings, come fight for them, is essentially how it's going to eventually be taken. Like,
so it's like summoning different people to fight for this. This is an
energy beacon. Like, they sensed it. So I'm assuming if it's a beacon being sent out, anyone can kind of detect it. You know what I'm saying? And I know they expressly ask to what, so there probably is a specific purpose. However, I think along the way, we will see people who saw that the 10 rings were activated and are coming for that ass.
Okay, so it's like, ooh, okay, I can get it. So it's like, if you want the 10 rings here, like, I'm woken up, I'm fully activated, yeah, come get me.
And I'm assuming there's some sort of like antithesis to the 10 rings, and that's kind of what it's probably calling out to, or like would be a challenge to, from whatever dimension they're from or whatever. It's just like, there's so much mystery surrounding them right now. And I think the interesting aspect of this Xia Ling taking over the 10 rings and Shang-Chi actually possessing the 10 rings. Do you think there's any chance that Shang-Chi is ever associated with the 10 rings, even though he's not? Like, in the future, like, persecuted for being a part of the 10 rings, for possessing the 10 rings?
I feel like, it's going to be like a guilty with association type thing.
Because it is his sister. It is his sister running it.
I feel that, or he might be put in a situation where he could be held accountable for something, and then he has to like also maybe go against his sister one more time, or maybe it's kind of like he has to put his sister in hiding. It probably could go on something like that.
See, I would like that route more. Like, if they went Captain America Winter Soldier,
because I don't want it to be a fighting thing. We already seen this,
a Civil War where he protects her, you know, a little bit more instead of like goes against her. Even though I do think that if she gets into enough shit, as she does kill one of these members of the 10 rings off the side of this building, and Shang-Chi was like not gonna kill him, and then she's like, "Did America make you soft?" Like, she'll murder
Oh yeah,
She has no issue.
Yeah, she's like, that
she
bitch.
has no issue killing a motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's no. I mean, and like obviously a member of the Ten Rings, she has a little more history with that. Like, it's kind of like the Star Wars stormtrooper thing. Like, can you really blame her for killing one of the henchmen of the Ten Rings? Fuck that guy.
I mean, yeah, like fuck him. But the simple fact that like she has like no remorse. She just like you just have to die. Like, I'm going to kill the shit out you. Like,
well, no, that's what's interesting is the way that they're gonna. That both of them are following that instruction of their mother, the take what we have both taught you and make it your own. And the way he's ended up adapting more of that Ta Lo, his mother's side of it, and she's become the leader of the Ten Rings more after Wenwu on that side of it, which I thought was mad interesting, given just like the whole movie, like even in the flashbacks where we see Wenwu and Lee with their children, it's he's holding Shang-Chi, she's holding Xialing. That's just always how it was.
It's okay. I can see it. I can really see it. Like, she's holding, maybe because she's also holding in her father so much because she resents her father so much. And it's like she's want to like somewhat like prove to him, maybe subconsciously prove to him that she could have handled it. You know, maybe that's like a thing also. Maybe so.
I mean, I think she's pretty secure at the moment. I do think she was robbed of closure with her dad. A closure that Shang-Chi got that she didn't.
Yeah, I really wish she did have a moment. Like, I really wish that was a thing.
Because, like, she got robbed of it there where she's riding the Great Protector, protecting the people, and he sees Wenwu take his final moments to save him and then pass on the Ten Rings. Kind of like in a forgiveness sort of summation, you know.
Do you think that all the souls is like dead though? I mean, because the Great Protector did like absorb it, but where did it go when it died? Like,
nah. See, I was interested. I thought it would have been super cool if when like it ate the souls, if like the stuff would have glown like orange, so that it was more like the soul stone.
Yeah.
But like given that it was purple and stuff, I was like, okay, there's probably no connection there. But I think they're straight up dead. I think it's just like it takes the souls, feeds on it, and it's like once it dies, those souls are gone too. Like, it's just that.
Damn. Well,
because they even have the funeral there at the end for those that died in battle.
This movie is definitely like the top 5 Marvel movies. I'm serious. So now we saw Shang-Chi and I saw the Eternals trailer before the movie. Do you think the Eternals is going to have a similar feel? Like, do you think the Eternals is going to be like, it's going to feel not like a straight up Marvel movie?
100%. No, here's the thing. This movie's directed by Chloe Zhao, who won Best Director last year at the Oscars for Nomadland. And it's the first Marvel movie ever directed by an Oscar winner for Best Director. And she has insisted that they don't do the warehouse shit. They are going on location to shoot natural lighting on beautiful landscapes all over the world. Like, that's what she's insisted they do. And I think it's going to bring an element to the movie in terms of visuals that we haven't seen from Marvel movies yet. And it is, while I'm excited for Spider-Man No Way Home for a completely different reason, Eternals is, like, from a filmmaking perspective, the most excited I am for a Marvel movie.
The way it's going to be shot, because it looks so natural. It's not no overly blue-gray tones that feels so sad. And
it feels very naturally lit, and like it's just like, dude, and the cast for that movie, it just looks so good.
So fucking good. So fucking good.
See, and that was another thought I had. Maybe Shang-Chi's 10 Rings is some sort of tie to Eternals. Like, that's what the beacon's being activated to. It's calling to something that'll come in Eternals. And then we get a nice little post-credit scene connecting the two there. However, I don't like these releases have been thrown all the way off by COVID. I don't know if Eternals was actually supposed to come out before Shang-Chi at one point or something. So there's no real telling whether or not anything can really be connected right now. However, if the plan always was for Eternals to come after Shang-Chi, and we see that here, I think that'd be super cool. If they were somehow immediately connected just a couple months after.
Okay. The only reason why I asked because the way that it looked, because I remember my brother, he went to go see it. And I remember he said, it kind of gave me, he said, I don't know why, but it gave me like the boys feel with like Lord of the Rings. And I was like,
no, I can 100% see that through the costume design.
Like Homelander, I could see so much Homelander.
It was it was incredibly practical. Like, like you see all these other suits and it's like obvious that they are CGI augmented. Mm-hmm. Like Iron Man's suit. I mean, the only one that like comes to mind that's like obviously not is Captain America, Sam Wilson, like besides the wings. But like you can tell that's a fucking suit that he's wearing, and Wanda's Scarlet Witch outfit is something that she's wearing and stuff. Like you can tell these dudes and dudettes are rocking some real deal superhero shit right now. Like that's it's what it looks like anyway. And I like that a lot.
Oh God, Colton. I just realized something. Your name on today is Morris.
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking, I said, who the fuck is Morris? And I'm just like, oh.
Well, it's because Morris signed in for me.
So, yeah, but, okay, well, I'm really excited for Eternals, and woof, I will even come at the end of the podcast for that if all you guys talk about that, because that movie,
I mean, at this point, you're one of my favorite people to talk Marvel movies with, so it might just... just given the way the Black Widow pod went and the way this one is gone, you'll certainly be here for the Eternals podcast.
Okay.
But this, I don't have much else to say about Shang-Chi. One thing I am excited for is how What If is going to adapt Phase 4 movies in Season 2. And
God.
I want to see how Shang-Chi and the Eternals and WandaVision and Loki and all that folds in to What If. And with that, I would like to talk about What If you're down.
Yes, I'm down. I'm big down.
So let's talk about What If. Finally, I completely forgot about at the hour mark to tell people, but What If? We've gotten through 5 episodes so far. Episode 6 comes out tomorrow. Very excited for that. And we'll talk about What If again when the season wraps up. I was like, you know what? Halfway point. Let's fucking talk about it. We got Captain Carter. What if she took the super serum? We got what if T'Challa became a Star-Lord, which is, so far, personally, my favorite episode. Episode 3, what if the world lost its mightiest heroes and the Avengers died? Episode 4, what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? Which, critically, probably the best episode. Absolutely heart-wrenching. Holy fuck. And then episode 5, what if zombies? But yeah, this shit been crazy. I didn't come in with like super high expectations. I knew it was going to be solid. If any other show ever has a cast like this, it's like, holy fuck, how did an animated show get this type of talent? So it's like, holy shit, we're dealing with some talent here. And I took a second for the animation to grow on me. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was just all right for a little bit, but now I'm kind of adjusted and like really down to look at it. And that's kind of how it goes. Yeah, same. It's how it goes with every animated show that I watch. It kind of takes a second to sometimes adjust to the animation style. Like recently on Netflix, there's a new show called Q-Force, which I'd strongly recommend, by the way. And the animation for a second, the way the characters are animated, their faces, I was like, I don't know if I like this, but then, get through 3 episodes. You're fine. And that's how I felt about What If. Like, it took 1 episode. I watched it multiple times, and I was like, holy shit. Okay, this is cool. So let's start with the Captain Carter one, if you don't mind. How'd you feel about that?
Okay. It was good. It actually, okay, it was good. I just didn't feel that much really like that that captivated by it.
No shit.
It was good. No, it was really good. If it was even like I will even go as far as say it was a movie, I will probably still watch it. I just didn't really have that much into it. Like, oh, okay, so it was Captain America's story with a little bit of a twist on it at the end. That's what it gave me. I didn't really.
Oh yeah, like it was. What if the Captain America story played out essentially the exact same with literally one detail change?
Yes, exactly. That's literally.
And obviously there was a couple other things, like now Steve Rogers becomes the Hydra Stomper, which is basically the first iteration of Iron Man, which I thought was cool.
That was amazing. I like that.
Steve Rogers becoming Iron Man, like holy fucking shit. What am I looking at? That's awesome. I got super excited. And like, that's mostly what gets me excited about this is just the like, who would have ever thought? Like, this is truly a what if, like I never would have anticipated seeing Steve Rogers become the first iteration of Iron Man. I wouldn't have anticipated Bucky Barnes being so cornily unfunny. Cause oh my gosh, he took some swings. And a lot of it was missing for me.
A lot. I think he did pretty well in Zombies, but yeah.
He did great in Zombies. and don't get me wrong, voice acting great. Sounded just like Bucky did all the but I don't know, the writing provided for him just wasn't quite it, I don't think. It just wasn't quite it. But I did enjoy Captain Carter and that multiversal creature that shows up at the end.
That definitely tied into episode
Doctor Strange
was it, 3?
Episode, right?
Was it episode 3 with Doctor Strange?
It was episode 4 with Doctor Strange.
Episode 4, yes. Episode 3 with the Avengers were gone. Okay, yes, that I liked how it tied
same creature,
together.
Right?
Huh?
Yeah, outstanding.
Yeah.
It's got to be the same creature.
It has to be.
It has to be. I know it's an infinite multiverse, but if like we're seeing the same multiversal creature, I'm guessing it's the same guy.
Big
it seemed pretty
tentacles.
powerful.
Like, come on, and I think it's only really tentacles though, because even in Doctor Strange, you didn't really see a body. It's like he absorbed the tentacles. That was like it. It might just be tentacles.
Bro, I absolutely love What If so far, and Captain Carter was a great kickoff. However, I think it really escalated with the second episode. What if T'Challa became a Star-Lord, and we kicked the episode off with him doing the exact same opening to the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, except he's not a fucking goof.
He's not a dumbass. I loved it. Yeah.
So he just does his shit, and you know what? If T'Challa was Star-Lord, people would know the name Star-Lord, which I thought was funny. They were like, because that was basically how I took this entire episode. It was just like, oh my God, look at how much better off we'd all be if T'Challa was Star-Lord.
Damn. Oh, Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. And not see, but then they leave you on that cliffhanger there at the end where Ego comes to get Peter Quill from Earth, and it's like, oh, okay, so now this might be a bigger problem since he's grown up on Earth and doesn't really have the wits about him that he did as Star-Lord.
Yeah, so everything
we'll see how that unfolds. It seems like all these episodes, they intend to continue the story at some point.
I got that same feel. I have the exact,
and I don't expect them to, because of what I've seen in What If comic books. Like they're one-offs. That's that. And most of the time, the story is complete enough to where you can go, okay, we're good. But they also leave one detail where they can go, okay, what if we want to continue What If? Like, what if season 2 is just What If sequels?
I feel like it leaves you on like a Twilight Zone effect. That's what it gives me. It gives me a Twilight Zone. Like because Twilight Zones never really continue the story. It leaves with a twist, then a cliffhanger, and then you like that's what it gives me.
No, see, and that's the thing too, is that like it could be that they're showing us the first steps of what their galaxy continues onward to, and then eventually in stuff like Multiverse of Madness, we could see cameos by characters like Captain Carter, because it's been said that that actress, I believe her name is Haley Satwell, something like that. Atwell, maybe, just that. I don't know, but she's supposedly been casted for Multiverse of Madness and is playing Captain Carter, supposedly.
Oh,
and it would,
like I thought about that. Like I really thought that even the Doctor Strange, like the one that we got. Oh, before I say that, the second episode of If T'Challa Was Peter Quill, that scene when he was like, "Does this look like Peter Quill to you?" And it's like a white kid with a black kid. Like, I was like,
I don't know, sir. All humans look the same to me.
I said, "Well, this just ended racism," but
But bro, I was floored whenever they were like, "And how did you defeat the mad Titan Thanos?" And Thanos comes over and he's like, "Yeah," and he just like starts talking all casually with everybody, and I was like, "Whoa, what?" And he's like, "Yeah," and T'Challa's like, "Yeah, sometimes a good debate's better than a battle." And like he just like, if T'Challa was Star-Lord, he just would have convinced Thanos there was another way.
Yes, like there wouldn't be no Infinity War. Like it wouldn't be WandaVision.
It wouldn't be shit.
It wouldn't be.
T'Challa would have solved everything before it got to Earth because he was that good.
He was so competent. They just shitted on Chris Pratt in that episode.
No, bro, they were just like, "Fuck Peter Quill, dude."
Yeah.
Like, this Peter Quill ain't doing shit that he could be.
That is, now I'm always going to look at him different. In Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I'm really, that has made people should hate Peter Quill, especially now with what happened in Infinity War. Like, like, it's just like, not only did T'Challa not even get to that point, we could have stopped it right there, but you still fucked up. Like,
bro, here's the thing for me, is that like, I think Peter Quill has been actually one of the best written characters in the MCU in terms of a story so far. I've loved the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Is he massively incompetent? Absolutely. But that's just like a part of his character, which I think is mad important. You know what I'm saying?
It's just, that episode was, and then also, was that, so I don't, I'm not talking on my ass, was that Chadwick Boseman's voice?
Yeah.
Okay.
This season of What If is his last performance that'll ever be released.
Oh,
like,
man, when I heard it, because I remember someone saying, "No, it's not," and then I was like, I could have sworn it was, because, okay, but that touch, his voice acting, like, that, I saw a YouTube
and then
episode
at the end of that episode, when it was like dedicated to our friend, hero, Chadwick Boseman, I was just like, oh.
I was like, come on. I was so happy. Like, it just really bummed me. And then I saw the YouTube interview when someone was talking like how Chadwick was like in love with the project. He was like, "Oh yes, I want to do it. Like, hell yeah." And it's just, oh man.
Yeah, I think he was just so excited to take up any opportunity he could to portray T'Challa. Like, I think he just loved the character so much. Yeah, it was just, it was devastating to lose such a talent, and I am fascinated to see how they can possibly do another movie without him. But we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
However, his performances here in What If so far have been fantastic. He even popped up in another one of the episodes just as T'Challa, Black Panther. I can't remember if that was, I think it was Zombies.
It was Zombies. Yes, it was Zombies. It was Zombies.
He popped up briefly. But I absolutely loved that second episode. And I even got the little, like, Phase 4 has just been bleeding my fucking pockets dry, dude. Like, I've got like the Scarlet Witch and White Vision Funko Pops just came in where she's in the air floating, reading the Darkhold, and it's White Vision right next to her. And then I got Shang-Chi, Wenwu, Katie, got this guy, Morris here. Got a What If, Doctor Strange Supreme, and then the Killmonger, which will be next episode of What If. And
can't wait.
And I got T'Challa Star-Lord, which I was very, very happy about.
How did you feel about the third episode?
I want to talk about the third episode after I mention one more thing about the second, which was Thanos versus the Black Order. Outstanding. The fact that we got the children of Thanos fighting against Thanos. Was fantastic. I loved it, and I loved Jimon Hunsu's character in this. He's the Kree guy who popped up in Captain Marvel and Guardians of the Galaxy, who's like, T'Challa's my best friend. You know, like I thought he was a great addition, and he was actually like, I think he was supposed to be like, there's always the funny character in each of these episodes, like what's supposed to be the funny character, and he knocked it out of the park compared to what happened in the first episode with Bucky Barnes. But it was awesome. I loved that whole episode, and the third episode was actually a fantastic What If, because it shows you just how much of a problem Ant-Man and the Wasp could be if they wanted to.
They kind of low-key did the fan theory of Ant-Man going inside Thanos' ass, but substituted it with the Hawk. Like, they definitely took that fan theory of, like, just blowing up Thanos from the inside, but did it with the Hawk. Like, literally.
Hey, knocked it out of the park for me.
Like,
nailed that shit. Bro, dude, that shit was devastating. Like, why have they been, like, so sad these last few episodes?
They are. Like, they are. It's so, that's why I'm talking about this MCU is being about grief. Like, it's like, it's sad as hell.
The MCU creators are going through it in phase 4.
Like, Hawkeye, Thor dying. And starting with Tony and then Cap. It was just, wait, I can't remember how Cap died. How did Cap die again?
How did Cap die?
How the fuck did he die?
That's the only episode I watched once.
How did he die? Did he die?
I think he might have been the first one to die. No. He didn't die. He was never taken out of the ice. He's the post-credit scene.
That's right. You're right. That's what. Yeah, they could have lingered. You're right.
Nick Fury and there's someone else with him. I can't remember now, but maybe it was Captain Marvel. I think it was Captain Marvel, but it is fascinating to think about, like, how, as a result of that, the Avengers having died right before they needed it, and then Loki coming in to help Nick Fury save the day, and then that opening the world up for Loki to take over.
It really is. Loki.
We're gonna get fucking King Loki for another What If episode, which is outstanding.
Yeah. And then also, how did you feel that Hawkeye died before Black Widow?
Loved it. Favorite part of the episode. But I thought it was I was like, dude, fuck Hawkeye. He really shot Thor through the fucking heart. What a pussy.
He said fuck Hawkeye.
I know that's you, Jeremy Renner. I know that's you behind that voice.
Oh my goodness. Like, it was so, but when Black Widow was just turned around, she was like, Hope, find Hope. Like, it's just like, damn. Like, how he just poured it off into the dark.
And the way they portrayed him, Hank Pym, scary. Bro, he was freaky.
He looked like so fucking ominous.
The manic, just like gone crazy look in his eye, and it's kind of crazy that, like, they've been the cause of two of, like, the biggest problems in the What If so far, like the death of the Avengers through Hank Pym, and then Janet having the the zombie virus that
yeah.
Hank brings back. But I don't know. I thought that was a cool what if, just because it really shows how much of a problem Ant-Man and the Wasp could be if they wanted to be.
It's scary as shit.
And another example of how far someone will go for the death of a loved one.
That one fucked me up. This episode really, that Doctor Strange episode, that really fucked me up. Like I felt so bad.
Nah, yeah, I watched this. I watched this one pretty early in the morning, and it kind of ruined my day. Gave it another viewing later in the evening, and I was like, okay, this was more of a later in the evening thing. I shouldn't have watched this before I went to fucking work. But it was outstanding. Like, it's absolutely devastating. And it goes to show just how powerful these heroes and stuff could become if they went just completely unhinged. And maybe they're just preparing us for when Wanda Maximoff just goes off the rails.
Oh my goodness! Like that scene when Doctor Strange is literally killing all of these different entities and just absorbing them and just taking them.
And they become like a part of him for a second, and then he can like make them go away and come to fruition when he pleases. Like, this dude's a problem. This Doctor Strange could give Wanda the work.
He give Wanda the work. He give her the business. And like, it was have you ever seen the Green Lantern movie?
Yeah.
Remember Parallax, like how his mouth opens up to like take like to absorb your life force? That's kind of like how Doctor Strange that's the vibe that he gave me when he absorbed that little munchkin leprechaun looking thing.
Yeah, I feel you.
Absorbed him. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with, like, why is he doing this? Did he, like, I mean, I get why, but like, this is so left. Like,
he straight up destroys the universe.
Straight up.
In an effort, and he was becoming a monster. He didn't even realize it. And when he goes to save her, she's like, yo, I can't do this because of what you've become. It was never worth it. And I would be fascinated, and I kind of hope that this Doctor Strange,
the Multiverse of Madness,
is a problem eventually.
I want him to be in the Multiverse of Madness. I want him to be.
And it would have been like, it'd be a nice little through line to the White Vision versus Vision fight.
It would be phenomenal. Like, what if like it's a, like, I was thinking about it. I was like, what if Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness? Like, Doctor Strange don't even know that this version of him is there. Then all of a sudden he tries to absorb Doctor Strange. They in the fight, and then Wanda is like, oh, who do I blast? Like, it's I don't know.
That movie is just going to be something else. Like, I saw the comments from Benedict Cumberbatch, because Tom Holland was talking about No Way Home. Like, it's the most ambitious standalone superhero movie I've ever seen. And then like, they were like, Benedict Cumberbatch, do you agree with him? He was like, oh, certainly, until Multiverse of Madness.
And then Multiverse of Madness is supposed to be what, like a scary movie? It's supposed to be like
it's supposed to be a horror movie, like horror tone.
I doubt it's gonna be like scary, but
I mean, it's directed by Sam Raimi, who did the Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire.
I mean, yeah.
And there were moments in that were like pretty frightening to my childhood self, and upon rewatch, I'm more prepared for those now.
Actually, Spider-Man 3 was actually pretty scary to me when I was a kid. It was.
But no, yeah, there were multiple, like, and that was another thing that, going back to Shang-Chi for a second, really made Wenwu scary, was like whenever he goes and murks those dudes in the bar with young Shang-Chi. The way that the atmosphere responded to him, the people in there screaming and shouting. I don't think we get enough of that in the MCU to portray our villains
The actual
as horrifying
fear.
as they were.
Yeah.
That's what Sam Raimi did so well for Doc Ock and Green Goblin and Sandman and Venom. He just knew how to make it feel like, oh, this is actually scary that this is happening. It's not just superhero versus villain who's going to win. It's like, holy shit, I need the hero to win so that this can stop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was actually blind fear, like the people screaming. That was fear. Like straight up fear. Like I can agree with you. And like the scene when he's like, what is he in a mirror dimension or something like that? Doctor Strange at the end of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. When he's just alone. I mean alone with nothingness. Nothing. Like it's just nothing around him. He's alone. It's just so sad. It's so sad. He's alone with his grief.
Dude, yeah, and that's all he was. The Ancient One is so fucking weird. I don't get the Ancient One. Never will. What the fuck? How do you know, like, this Doctor Strange, you've created a parallel universe in which that Doctor Strange is going to destroy that universe. Like, that's coming. And you just, like, let it happen.
She kind of did. Yeah, because she already knows what Doctor Strange is going to do. That's
why she split him. That's why she split him.
But then why didn't you just, like, stop? Like, I could get why, but, like, why did you let him get to this point? Like, why did you let him get so far? And why did you even let him do this in the first place? Like, it's just,
right.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah, the Ancient One's just confusing as fuck, and everything involving them always gets really confusing.
But Jesus, yeah.
Tilda Swinton's an incredible actress, though. Absolutely,
I loved her ever since The Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe. Always.
Ooh.
Ever since she played the White Witch, I loved her.
She was also in
Constantine.
Oh. Yeah. Yes. Oh, dude, I love Constantine too. That's an underrated one for my money.
Big underrated DC movie.
Well, just because I love Keanu Reeves, but she was in a movie.
Something's wrong with Kevin.
What's the fucking train? The capitalism metaphor for the train. By Bong Joon-ho.
Chris Evans. Snowpiercer. Amazing.
Snowpiercer. Amazing. She's awesome in that. And then, have you seen the series Snowpiercer?
I haven't started it yet.
Oh, it's outstanding.
The movie is so good.
But yeah, Tilda Swinton, fantastic in that as well. But again, her character as the Ancient One is always mad confusing, always mad compelling though. But yeah, Doctor Strange's episode was devastating, as has a lot of Phase 4 stuff. And episode 5 was a bit of a step up. Kind of. Still kind of sad.
Episode 4. I mean 5. Wait, 5 with zombies.
Yeah, we're on 5.
Yeah, zombies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it zombies?
We're all caught up. Yeah, we're all caught up. Zombies.
Okay. Make sure I didn't lose anything. But the scene when Bruce came back, he said, "Thanos is coming." That image.
Hello?
Yeah, like it was just like, oh. And then he just goes, he said, "Did Thanos already get here? Like, what the fuck?" Yeah. And then like when he goes outside and then like they come down like the children of Thanos, and then like you get to see them like beating their ass, but the whole time they're eating like they biting them.
And Bruce Banner's like, "Okay guys, I think that's a little overkill." Yo, what was horrifying about these zombies is that they knew how to use the powers and technology that they had before they became zombies.
That was fucking insane.
I was like, oh, that's what really makes this a problem. Because usually they just go brain dead. They just do whatever the fuck. But if like the Tony Stark zombie was flying around and shit.
And the Doctor Strange one used the outwitch magic.
And then dude, when that child of Thanos, the one that's like the one that Tony Stark called SpongeBob, Ebony Maw or something
Ebony
like
Moss,
that.
yeah, whatever his name is. Yeah.
He whenever he became a zombie, I was like, oh fuck. That's a real problem. That dude should have ran everybody. No clue as to why he was such a cuck.
A cuck.
If he wanted to be so evil, he had so much power. What the hell?
Like, he just, and then how he dragged Bruce Banner, he was just standing there like this. I was just like, oh, fuck. Like, this is it. And then when he just came in, Peter, first of all, was that Tom Holland's voice that played Peter Parker?
No, it was not.
Wow.
Really good job replicating it, though.
Wow. This should have been the Spider-Man PS4. Like, I don't know. That voice, I thought that was Tom Holland. I literally thought that was Tom Holland.
Oh yeah, it was really good voice acting, and I loved Spider-Man in this episode. He was a huge plus sign in this episode for me. And, one of the characters who got like a lot of shine, who really deserved it. Like I think Hulk got a lot of due credit here, and I think Hope got a lot of due credit here. Like I absolutely loved.
I wanted this to be his own series. I love the zombies. I actually really did love it.
I do too. No, I think that's a distinct possibility for the future of their, like, MCU has said they are opening animation studios to keep producing animated projects. It wouldn't surprise me if these what ifs literally spun off into their own animated series, like some of them.
Like and then like what else? Oh, Sharon Carter. Like, I loved it how Bucky was just like, girl, like, he just pushed her off to the side. I was like, damn.
Well, and I felt so bad that, like, for, like, certain characters, I was like, not happy. Man, not Sharon. But, like, if there's anybody who's going to get got here,
I would prefer Happy or Sharon. That. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
Because Peter,
I loved that he was chosen by the Cloak of Levitation for this whole little thing, though. That's a really cool little Spider-Man idea, if he had the Doctor Strange cape.
Yeah, and then how he spoke. This is what I really thought was Spider-Man. When he said, Mr. Stark, actually, to be an Avenger, I turned him down. And then, like, the way he used his words and the way that he sounded was like, that sounds like Tom Holland. It sounds like Tom. Like, I couldn't.
No, yeah, it was a really good voice acting performance, no doubt.
But then when it got to the base in New Jersey, which is like a complete parallel of WandaVision, and his Vision keeping Wanda, he's like, you woke her up. That reminds me of like so many Resident Evil references when it's like you're feeding your zombie girlfriend. Like, it's
bro, and then the darkest shit I've ever seen in an MCU anything, when Vision kills himself, he literally rips out his Infinity Stone.
Because he couldn't leave Wanda. Like,
I was like, what? No. Oh my God. I couldn't believe they went there. It was so weird to me. I'm not going to lie.
Like, he literally was like, I can't leave my wife. Boom.
I don't think that's, like, it just felt weird.
But then you see Wanda, some part of Wanda's love was stronger than the zombie virus. Because when Vision is dead, she literally goes over to him. Like she's just like, oh.
They don't get a happy ending anywhere.
We don't. And then I really think, I know people were saying, like, my friends was like, oh yeah, when he must have died when he got to Wakanda, because Thanos has like all the stones. But it's like, I don't know, because like, are they dead? Because Thanos does have all the stones, but it's like,
well, I think that just opens up like a whole like, oh God, what's zombie Thanos gonna do? Like, Oh God. And that's what's so funny to me is that he went all over the galaxy, got all these Infinity Stones, was like, I'm gonna go give Earth the work. Got there and got fucking ate.
When Dad got fucking ate.
By zombies. Like, that was just that for him.
Do you
Now
think
he's
the Hawk is, because I know, like, Wanda couldn't bite through him, but do you think that he might have turned, or he's just still fine?
I think he's fine, just because, like, that's kind of Hulk's thing, is that he can kind of get through practically anything if he's in Hulk form.
I mean, but Tony Stark did knock his tooth out.
That's true. Maybe Bruce will be a problem one day. Maybe.
But wow, like zombie Wanda, wow, that's fucking terrifying. That's like actually
that's some shit that you do not want to come face to face with.
That's scary. Like when she was wrapped up, how she moved as like a zombie was so witch. It was witchy. It was
witchy as fuck. She was a zombie witch.
It was so fucking scary.
No, yeah, like this is gonna be like a Halloween watch for me. Like just because like that's like the mood.
Like even
it'll be that spooky. I mean, a zombie witch. There's a zombie witch. That's two great Halloween things wrapped up all in one.
Like that scene when she broke it, like it was like good horror right there when the door opened and she's just in the back and just glowing this like. I was like, damn, y'all better die like fuck. Like that's what I took. Y'all better die like fuck. Like damn,
bro. I'm. What was the ultimate like the culmination of it? Like what they were trying to get the cure to the virus
on like a satellite. It was like they was trying to take whatever the Mind Stone could do. I think it was going to like satellite it,
to amplify
it. Yeah. Because did you like the Futurama reference with Ant-Man?
Oh yeah,
it was so Futurama. That was
a funny part of the episode, and like I enjoy Paul Rudd, and like he kept it straight on. Like I can hear a little bit of a difference in a lot of characters' voices, like they know their voice acting a little bit because a lot of them aren't usually voice actors, I don't think, and I think it kind of comes across sometimes. But. Like, I think that kind of was the case with Sebastian Stan in the first episode a little bit, but he really got it together in the episode 5, you know?
Oh, yeah, he got his shit together, yes.
But, yeah, I thought they did so well. Just, like, knocked it out of the park.
Now, especially when Hope had that cut, and just like, Hope, and she's like, fuck. And then when she, turned herself, like, when she got, like, giant, it was just like, oh, man. It was just... But then I thought, when it got to New Jersey, I thought it was going to be like I kind of had, like, a different feel. I thought it was going to be, like, Wanda doing, like, a hex thing. Like, she was keeping people away, like, out. Like, she was keeping the zombies out. I didn't think... No part of me thought Vision. Like, I straight up didn't think Vision.
I love that flip though.
I did like it was really
that Vision would do the same thing. That like if Wanda had died and he had to deal with that, it wouldn't matter to him. Like it's like I gotta ride for mines.
You know what I really liked? I have this thing on my phone and I was listening to Daydream Believer after the episode. And I was thinking about what if that scene was so dark? Like, what if when that part was happening, they like made like Daydream Believer play, but it was like very, very deep. Like it was like deep ass voice. I would have loved it. I would have been like, oh, this is fucked.
Daydream Believer can be spooky. Like if you mix it the right way, like it could be done.
It can be done. Like all old school music can like be done like that. You just got to make it sound ominous as fuck.
Believer and homecoming queen.
I'm serious. Like they could have really and like did the lyrics like when it says put 6 rings, then I rise. Once you sleep, I'll close my eyes, and it's just like that part, like that lyrics could have been very like sad as fuck sounding, and I would have been like, like I would have gotten the.
Yeah, that'd have been that. I'd have felt that. But yeah, what if's been fucking outstanding, and I can't wait for what they're gonna keep doing. And I know that episode 6 coming up tomorrow will be around Killmonger, and I know that we saw in the trailer it's him saving Tony Stark at the beginning of Iron Man. So who knows how the fuck that partnership's gonna blossom? Very interested in that. Any predictions for beyond What If?
Any predictions? The only prediction I have is season 2. I want to see how season 2 goes. I don't think we get like many more Marvel projects in between now and next year. I don't think we do. So for them to say season 2 is going to be next year, I'm like, what are y'all going to do? Like, are y'all going to? I don't know.
Well, there's so much more material to go over too. They haven't touched on hardly anything Black Widow outside of the Avengers, and
You're correct.
They haven't. They'll have Shang-Chi and Multiverse of Madness and Loki and WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier to go off of. Like, but they'll have a little bit more content.
Didn't they kind of touch on WandaVision a little bit, like a tiny?
A little bit. Yeah. I guess. I think that. Yeah, definitely. Actually, a little bit, paralleling it anyway.
But I really wish they continue. Like, I want to see more zombie shit. I do want to see more zombie shit.
I want to see more zombie shit,
and I want to
too.
see Peter Quill, Ego. I do want to see, like, Ego, what happened with Peter Quill and Ego. I have to see that.
Right. Yeah, like, I want to see all this, and I want to see where Captain Carter becomes the the quote-unquote first Avenger instead of Steve Rogers. Like, I want to see all that play out, you know?
Ooh, this is what I want to talk to you about. Ooh, real quick. I remember something on Loki. I said something about Owatu. I said, I feel like he's going to come about or something. I feel like he's watching this or something. Do you think Owatu is going to come into the MCU? Like, literally, it's going to be an actual actor playing him.
Oh, I don't know.
Damn, like, I really want him. I really want him to come into the MCU. Like, I want him to.
That would be cool. There is one element of this series that we hadn't touched on that I want to kind of go back to, is the way Doctor Strange can see the Watcher and talks to the Watcher in episode 4. And is like, why are you just sitting there watching? You could have done something about this. Do you think there's ever a point where the Watcher does intervene?
I feel like yes, because isn't that like a storyline of his anyway, that he kind of loses his powers from intervening or something like that?
I'm sure it'll pop up at some point, but yeah, that's been a comic book storyline before.
And I want to see it. What if the Inhumans was actually successful? Like, I want.
What if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was canon?
I wish it was.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. slaps.
It slaps. Like, especially when I remember Ghost Rider coming in. I remember. Like, I wish. Oh, no, I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say, what if The Gifted was.
Oh. What if Legion?
Oh, man. What
was canon?
What if? Wow, we have okay. Wow, we just gave them so much material just now.
So much.
Yeah, we gave them so much. So this day, if any of these become episodes, we deserve a compensation check. We deserve something.
We need royalties.
We deserve some royalties. But yeah, that's all I have to say about What If.
Hell yeah. Well, Aurora, this has been fun as hell. This was a good little 2-hour pod here. Mm-hmm. I mean, Shang-Chi and What If, there was plenty to talk about. This was right what I was expecting. So fantastic.
Yeah.
I had a great time. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. And for, just thank you so much. But What If starts at 1:23 on the dot, because I was watching. So yeah, it starts at 1:23.
What If starts at 1:23?
Yeah, about an hour and 23 minutes. On the dot.
Hour and 23 minutes. I'll go back and put a little warning. So this was the 131st episode of the Penny Bloom podcast. I was Colton Robertson, and I was joined by Aurora Carter. Thank you very much for being here.
Always.
And I will talk to you again for Mutants Monthly number 2 here at the end of September, where we're talking something blue. Basically go over any Mystique, Nightcrawler, Beast stories, and be sure to watch, like basically First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, kind of Dark Phoenix, because those are important for Mystique. Go watch X2 because I feel like it becomes a big point for Nightcrawler, and The Last Stand is big for the Beast and stuff. So, and I mean that First Class, Days of Future Past, and so on, that's also big for the Beast as it relates to Mystique. Yep. So we'll talk about that. Go to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you will find over 16 hours now of exclusive content from the Penny Bloom podcast, and you also find artwork that I make kind of randomly. Most recently, I put up a new Avengers poster with that features Shang-Chi and the Scarlet Witch and White Vision and Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. It's a lot of fun. It was fun to make, and I'm going to keep putting a bunch of artwork there. I pretty much only put artwork there now when I make it. So, they'll cost you $3 a month. Hit me up. Shout out Aurora for being one of my patrons.
Dang.
Very, very, very big supporter. But yeah, then head to Twitter, follow at Penny Bloom Pod, follow Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And always praise Keanu Reeves.